Tonight we are going to try a bottle that I've been more excited about than Chuck has. But the cast strength, I think, kind of swayed him, and we'll see, in our review if it has completely swayed him. And that is Redwood Empire. So if you know anything about Redwood, they are out of California. They name everything after redwood trees. Who would have thought? And every bottle is after a specific redwood they put like the GPS coordinates and you can actually go find that redwood, which is kind of cool. Personally, I would like to go see the redwoods at some point before I die. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully I get there. But this is Pipe Dream. So this is just the bourbon. They also have Emerald Giant, which is the rye, and then shoot, I'm gonna forget the third one. Lost Monarch. Got it. Which is a boo rye. So a blend of rye and bourbon, which is getting like hard to find a boo rye. We used to get the boo rye from High West, but then they
High
quit
West.
distributing. So that one's my favorite. The Lost Monarch is. But let's see what we think of this wonderful cast strength pipe dream that comes in at 58.4%, which is 116.8. Look at that. I did
Oh,
the
good
math.
job on the math.
There we go.
Nice, TJ.
And talking, if you've looked, other videos, they got transparency back here. So the mash bill is 74% corn, 20% rye, 4.5 malted barley, and 1.5 wheat. So this is a 4 grain. Yeah. So let's see what we think. Pretty excited. Aged for at least 4 years. And I do think that's about it. So
If I recall correctly on the standard offering of their bourbon, I think I just didn't they had some like almost like some piney spruce notes that I didn't like as much.
I think that
That
was
you
the
were
Lost
you were
Monarch
digging.
because I sent the
Oh, that was the
Lost
boo rye.
Monarch.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense
that
too,
was
a
the
little
boo
bit
rye.
with the
Yeah.
spiciness of a rye or herbalness of a rye.
Yeah. My wife explained it as you're hiking with the brawny man through the redwood forest is what she got. And I got very concerned for a little while. So yeah. Not a lot to the nose. I don't know. I'm not getting much there.
Yeah, I was searching and maybe like I'm searching through the forest and
Yeah.
can't see the forest through the trees.
No.
I don't think that
Definitely
really
it's one of
applies here.
those I get some of those crafty notes. There's some grain there.
Yeah, but light. I get some maybe
Yes.
some brown sugar as well.
And I get that for me what I get with a lot of crafty stuff is I get that like elephant ear doughy note on the nose.
Yeah, and that's where well, generally, if you say craft, like that's the immediate
Oh,
flavor that
okay.
pops in my mind. But to me, it's subdued.
Yeah.
It's not overpowering on the dough.
I
Elephant
mean
ear
the whole
note.
nose is a little subdued, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's not off
Yeah.
putting. Like when
Right.
you
No,
say
no.
craft, like that can be to
Fair
me
enough.
in
Yeah.
particular. Like I could be like a no go. Like I'm just gonna be like no, no
Yeah.
thanks.
Like when you
I don't need
send
to
Dibble and
proceed.
I'm like,
No, that's not craft. It's delicious. Goodness.
yes, it's a light nose. Some good notes in there. Nothing off putting. So okay.
I was trying to bring this all into like a few words, and
Yeah.
it's struggling. And it was like it
Yeah.
wasn't just like a progression of one flavor to the next. It was like, oh, I started to get a little bit of sweetness, and then it got spicy, a little bit of to me herbalness and rye spice, and then yeah, it was.
Because I've been really good lately with the visual context. Reminds me of Ratatouille when he's like talking about the flavors and you get all the like musical instrument color strings in the background. Like that's what's going on, except it's like a jumbled mess all going off at once.
I Ratatouille is one of my favorite Pixar movies.
Mm-hmm. The ride in Disney World's a lot of fun.
Finish is lasting,
Yeah.
lingering.
And I think the reason we're getting so many flavors is the fact that it's a 4 grain. So we're getting everything. Because on the finish, I feel like the high rye note flavor
Mm,
spices come into play
yes.
and the proof come in. But then on the like the palate, you get it starts out sweet, and then it goes almost like a little bitter chocolatey coffee notes, and then it goes herbal, and then it kind of goes a little dill pickly for me, like a rye
Mm,
coming into play, and then it goes back to just a regular bourbon. Like there's just a little bit of everything.
yeah, this is like a Shakespeare play. There's an act one, two, three, four, and five.
I
I
would
mean,
not
but you picked up a
go.
little bit of that dono on the nose. It's non-existent in the
No,
palate and finish.
I was just gonna say, I like it says aged at least 4 years. Like it does not feel young at all when I
No,
drink it.
but
So
that's like even though I didn't, you admittedly enjoyed the Lost Monarch, and I think we've had the bourbon, but more than I did.
yeah.
I was appreciative of what they had already accomplished in their young, storied career here, um, putting out some pretty good whiskey for a craft distillery. Because
Mhm.
we obviously taste the other end of the spectrum
Yes.
a little too often for my tastes.
Mhm.
Thanks for Brian sending us stuff to keep us grounded, but
Yeah.
they're honestly doing great work, and I think this is probably my favorite expression of
Mhm.
theirs so far.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can hit us up in the comments below, but I'm 90% sure that this is 100% their distillate and everything like that.
That's the understanding. It does say distilled in, right?
It says bottled in Sonoma County, and I do not see a
Uh-oh.
distilled.
Are we entering another
Yeah. Well, I know they're like
distilled in
15-year-old.
California?
Okay,
Oh,
there we go.
distilled in California, Indiana, Kentucky, bottled by Redwood. So this is a blend.
All right. I don't know where. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah. So I know their really old stuff is all MGP, and that's kind of how they started out. So they are slowly blending in their stuff to the other stuff. And I think they're doing a great job at that. Uh, it'll be interesting to see when it, and maybe it never will say 100% distilled in California in their stuff. They're always going to do a blend, but it's very, very good. And again, I don't have a problem with it because they're open and honest and transparent, which is
Yeah, and
all
it's
I
good
ask.
stuff, honestly. Like if you know your own distillate and strengths, right? So if they're like, hey, our distillate
Mhm.
really needs and we they don't give percentages, so we don't know. It could be predominantly
Mhm.
their own stuff, and then mellowed out with a little bit of Indiana, Kentucky.
And I'll say that, like, I do believe that, because it does have that Indiana, Kentucky on there. I'm a little more okay with the price point of these bottles because these bottles are like what 75, 80,
70,
somewhere right around there.
yeah, it might be close to 80, yeah,
Yeah.
on the
Uh,
barrel
and so
strength.
for just a 4-year-old Sonoma, California distillate at that price point and that age, I would be a little less inclined. Though, again, I understand if you're a small distillery, production costs are more and everything like that. But putting some other stuff in there, it kind of justifies that price a little bit more. And I can say at this price point, I put them right up there with Hard Truth, though Hard Truth does all their own stuff. So I give Hard Truth a little bit more credit than these guys, but it's good. And I don't have a problem paying that cost. It's not something I'm going to go to all the time, but it's one I'm glad I have on the bar. And when this is gone, I will definitely put another bottle of this on the bar. So it's where I am on it.
Yeah, it's one that well, maybe they're going to continue to perhaps evolve this the Redwood
Mhm.
Empire label, so it may not always stay the same. But when this bottle is gone, maybe I don't replace this, but I'm certainly going to be open to other things that they're they're doing, other things that they're putting out. So I'll be ready and glad to continue to sample, whether it's getting samples from bottles that you buy or bottles
Mhm.
that I buy. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely continued interested in what they're doing as a distillery, and I think it's a really good product and worthy. And
Yeah.
I also hope that I get out to the redwoods sometime.
If you haven't checked out Redwood Empire, definitely do it. Maybe start with their general lineup, which is more like the $40-$50 range, to see if you're interested in it. And then you can splurge a little bit to try to find the cash strength, which is definitely a little bit harder to find. But they're doing great stuff, and look forward to seeing what they do in the future. So with that, see you next time.
Stay neat.